This episode is sponsored by Zenro Clothing Co. Pick up your tees and or accessories at zenroclothingco.com and be sure to use offer code SOCRATES at checkout for 20% off select items. Also, if you're not into spending the money, just check out the Zenro radio playlist. zenroclothingco.com, music for your everyday. This episode also sponsored by The Pornian Bakery. If you're located in the Pornian area of Scarborough, Toronto, be sure to check out The Pornian Bakery, say what's up to Arville, and pick up a donut or two. Baked daily, crafted with love. This episode also sponsored by Podbean. Podbean is the podcasting platform of choice. It's the one that me and Vish use, and is great, you know, if you're looking to start that DIY podcast yourself. Definitely check out Podbean. Use the link podbean.com/SocraticGamers and gain 1 month of unlimited podcasting for free. Test it out, build that content. Anyone could podcast, right, Vish?
Yep.
Start a podcast and get your ideas out there. All right, enjoy the episode. Okay, cool. All right, so you saw Thunderbolts and you are very unstoked about it. Let me know what happened. Go ahead.
I think I needed more action. It was a lot more emotional driven. I see that as the main thing.
Okay.
But it seems like a lot of people do like it. But it's
did like the movie?
Yes. But it was just not enough action for me to like it, I guess.
Interesting. So it's like it was more of like an emotionally driven story kind of thing? Like, is that what?
A little bit of that, yeah. Just the whole idea of a loneliness and the darkness.
So
like it was good in that sense. But I think I just needed more action. There was action, it's just not enough. Like normally by the end you're going to get more of an action, but it wasn't too much near the end because it was more of an emotional driven thing. It was more like battling whatever emotion that it was. Yeah.
So there's no like climactic ending battle scene kind of thing?
There is a battle scene, but it's very quick. And
what? Okay,
yeah, because it's not about like I would say the outer battle. It's about the inner battle. At least for the character.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So the whole movie was just like internal drama and
in some ways.
Relationships kind of thing?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, that's funny because you were like into Sinners. Because remember, I was like not into it. I was like,
yeah.
Overhyped. And you're like, oh, I like Sinners. I haven't seen Thunderbolts yet, but like, I'll see how I feel after that one. But it's funny because like the like social media is going off about both, and then it's like hit or miss, you know, kind of thing. Like I was expecting more vampire stuff, and like for this, you're expecting more action, you know. So
right.
It's like,
I really like Sinners. I think it was just it was the music, it was the storytelling.
No.
Like that kind of stuff. That's what I liked about it. It wasn't that the vampire thing was just like I would say is like an add-on thing. Mm-hmm. And I forgot because I haven't watched vampire stuff in so long. I forgot how to kill vampires.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I was like, steaks. Garlic. I forgot all about that.
The garlic. So I was like, what? That seems so basic. But yeah, totally. That's funny because like what you're saying about like you forgot it was a vampire movie. That's what I meant about it being like Dawn of the Dead, because it kind of starts off like with this different storyline. So you think it's like a drama kind of thing, and then all of a sudden it turns into vampires. You're like, what just happened?
Right. Yeah.
But I think that's the style of that genre. You know, like they kind of bait and switch you, I guess, in that manner. But you like the music in Sinners.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did too. It was pretty sick. Like that one scene when they were going through different periods of music and then like interweaving both. That scene for me, I was like, damn, this is friggin' epic.
Yeah.
The way they did that.
I like that whole transition. Yeah, and then transition as it goes like into the sky, and then like you get the backdrop of the vampires. Like I like that whole transition, how that happened too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's very
like I got that when that music came on, that's where I fell into the movie. Like all
interesting.
Like vibe wise, like how music is supposed to touch you. That's kind of what happened, at least my experience.
Like you like tapped it, like you
like I tapped,
so,
like
super focused.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree too. But I felt like it was too long to get to that point. I was like, and then all of a sudden that happened. I was like, oh, this is cool.
No,
Like, yeah, I
I
agree
did
with
feel
you.
that
Like
because
it,
I did like all the other like I didn't feel it was long.
maybe it's a genre thing. Like it's a time period piece. Like it felt
Hmm.
very what's that called? Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I was like, I don't know, olden time stuff never gets me because I'm like, you guys are so olden time, bro. Like, where are the guns? Oh, well, there were guns, but like, where are the fast cars? You know, it's like,
Sure.
but that's funny that you mentioned that scene. Like, that's been breaking the internet. I've been seeing like so many things about that one iconic moment when like all the music like bled together and stuff. That was pretty dope. Is there any iconic moments in Thunderbolts? I keep seeing that one jump off scene. Was that like the
Just like in the
main?
beginning, as a
Oh,
right,
really?
very much the first five
Damn.
minutes.
Okay. It was cool. I mean, like, yeah. It's funny that we go so far to make these scenes happen. Like, because I was just, do you see the behind the scenes? And then they're like, yeah, Disney didn't want us to do it. But then the actress was like, yeah, let's do it. And then she like jumped off the building. She's not afraid of heights. I was like, oh my God. Like, you guys go hardcore for these movies, bro. But oh, actually, you know what though? So, like kind of like related to what happened this past weekend. We were going up this gondola, and I was so afraid, right? Because like the wind was going. Like gondolas are kind of freaky because they like rock.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And like I was in there, and I'm super afraid of heights. But because I gave myself a task of like I'm gonna film this thing, so like it made me one want to go on the gondola because I'm like, all right, it's gonna be awesome. And then two is like it took my mind off it. Although I was afraid, it was like I was doing something. So it was almost like you're doing it, but it's not real because you're doing it for the thing. It's
Hmm.
almost like when they asked the actress like jump off the thing, like she wouldn't normally jump off a building, you know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you're like, hey, she want to jump off a building, I'm like, no. But then
Hmm.
you're like,
Hmm.
hey, want to jump off a building? We're gonna film it though. They're like, all right, let's do it. You know?
Yeah.
It's
Right.
weird that like mindset shift in like people, you know?
Sure. Hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a cool. It seemed like a cool scene through
It's
the
a cool
clips
scene.
that
Yeah,
I've
yeah, yeah. I mean, the
seen.
beginning is cool. It's a cool scene.
But
It's
then it
just,
gets crappy, eh?
it's for me. I mean, there was a lot of talking. I did feel a little bored.
Wow, this guy, eh? Wow. Oh my goodness.
I got
See,
a
I was
little
like,
sleepy.
no. Well,
I didn't
I felt
get that
like I
at
got a
all.
little sleepy
For
in
Sinners?
Sinners,
Yeah,
though.
so I didn't get
Yeah,
sleepy at Sinners. So
interesting. I felt like it was dragging a bit. Okay, because I was like, should I run over and watch the movie today, like Thunderbolts, like later on? But now I'm like, maybe it's not as good as I thought
well,
it
it
would be.
depends. Again, you had a different experience with Sinners than I did.
True. So it was really just like the lack of action that made you not like this movie?
I think the lack of action. There was some CGI things, but
Wow, okay, like crappy CGI? You're like, oh, this is fake.
yeah, a little. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Interesting. All right. I'll put it
but I
on
don't know
a
if it's like I don't know if it's like maybe I don't know enough about these characters. Like I didn't read comics about these characters. Like I didn't feel connected to any
Oh,
of
okay,
them
okay,
per
okay.
se. So
So maybe that's a part of it too. You're like,
it
I
could
don't know who
be.
you are, bro.
Yeah, yeah. But it
Okay,
seems like
fair
a lot of
point.
other people are liking it. So
But like because the movie's good or like
but and I'm saying like maybe it hits the general audience better.
okay. Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Well, it is a Marvel movie, so they're trying to like get as many because so many people were like Marvel's back. And you're like, okay. Is it? I don't know. Is it? I don't know. Like I'm asking you, like,
I don't
is
know.
it?
I wasn't.
Wow, this guy, eh? You hated it that much. I'm like, all right, don't run to go watch this movie. So, but no, you like, you don't think it's like the turning point of Marvel, like how everyone's like I've been seeing that, like like this is a
Yeah, I
new
know. I know.
phase for
I
Marvel.
saw that too. I saw that too. I just
Even the cast was like, bravo, like old Marvel
I
kind
mean,
of thing.
sort of, but I didn't like. I
The
mean, the
old
only
Marvel movies.
I didn't like any of
Yeah.
these ones as much.
Oh, so if you're going with crap and you're like a little bit better than crap, you're like, oh, it's better
Well,
than
yeah,
crap.
yeah. I mean, should I say it's? I guess I'll say it's better than Eternals. What
Or
other
how about
ones
this? How
that
about this?
came out?
Tony Stark? Like, was it like Iron Man 1 when you're like, oh, what is going on? was like,
No.
wow, okay. So everything's overhyped. That's what we found out. Marketing really matters.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe. I mean, this is my opinion, so.
Yeah, but you have a good gauge too, and like we both like similar. Although I guess we were differing on the Sinners one. I don't know. I'll see it and report
Yeah, yeah.
back.
It's always better to see it and have your own opinion on it. It's all opinion
Yeah.
based, anyways. So.
Yeah, totally, totally. Okay, cool. Have you ever been to BC at all?
No, no.
Okay. All right. I really think that Toronto, all right. Toronto for me is the best city. Why? Because there's so much to do. Visually, it's not that great. Like the architecture's not that cool, but there's so much for us to do. You know what I mean? Like, oh, do you want to go to like a Korean town? Do you want to go like an Italian town? You know, or like, let's go to
Yeah.
the cyberpunk area, which is like high tech, and then like, let's go into the woods of, you know,
Mm-hmm,
you know
mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Like, there's like variety. That's what I like about Toronto. It's funny though because like having been to all these places in Canada now, like these major centers like Edmonton, um, Banff, um, like where's it? Halifax, now BC. But seeing BC, like when me and Wob went for that work trip,
Mm-hmm.
it was really foggy and you couldn't see anything. So I didn't even know it was surrounded by mountains. So if you go, have you been to Alberta? Yeah, you've been to Alberta, right?
No, no, no. I have not been. I'm planning on in July, or not planning.
Like,
I'm going in July.
oh, sick, sick, sick. Where in, like which area?
Well, I'll be in Calgary. Then I'll probably do like a day tour to Banff and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so you are going to be blown away. That is amazing. Day tour, are you into like renting a car at all? Are you not like a driver kind of thing? It's way
Uh,
better if you could just drive because like if you're on a
no,
tour, it's
just
like,
the way that the trip is
oh,
planned.
the thing you
It's
got.
not.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool, cool,
yeah.
cool. Okay, well, regardless, you'll see you are going to be mind blown by
Sure.
like when I first saw this, I was like, oh, damn. Like
Mm-hmm.
literally, oh, damn. Because when you fly into the city, you're like, buddy, you're going to Banff, right? So you're going to have to go through like Canmore and like to
Mm-hmm.
get to Canmore, like to get to Banff, you have to pass through Canmore and you have to go through the Rockies.
Yeah.
So your mind is going to explode at how tiny we are. Like these mountains are so insane and they're like on both sides. It's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So like having gone to BC before, it was so foggy that I didn't even know it was surrounded by mountains, right? So like we were there and it's like luckily we got perfect weather, like literally perfect weather. Like even everyone's like, "Oh, you lucked out!" Like perfect weather
Mm-hmm.
for 3 days that we were, 4 days that we were there, just like visiting family and stuff. And like the mountains were like surrounding the entire area. It's phenomenal. I was like, "Whoa, this is crazy!" And it's funny because like I was like, "Oh, the mountains are so sick," and they're like laughing at me, like that's so Ontario of you to say. I'm like, "Oh, really?" And they're like, everyone who comes there, oh wait, the first thing they say is like, "Whoa, look at the mountains," you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Sure.
But like everyone gets used to it, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah. Of course. Yeah.
And right, they like habituate. And I was like, how could you habituate? But I guess like if you grew up looking at this, right? So like I know people that also work in Calgary where you're gonna go, or like Canmore, Banff
Yeah. Yeah.
area, and like they also seem like they've habituated to it. But it's like it's so eerie. Like it's just so
Mm-hmm.
all
Mm-hmm.
like it's in your face. You're just like, oh damn, like we are so tiny and surrounded by mountains. Like we could die at any moment. You know what I mean? And it
Mm-hmm.
gives you like this. It's probably like being next to the ocean. You're just like, oh, this ocean's like getting well, but ocean's kind of flat. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, it's just like long water. We can go to the lake and be like, oh, look at the water.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? But like mountains are like, dude, if there's a rock slide, I'm dead. Or like
Mm-hmm.
an
Mm-hmm.
avalanche, I'm dead. You know what I mean? Like I could literally die on these things, which makes them so appealing. But like, I think Toronto is the sore thumb of Canada now. Having been to like all these different places in Canada, they're all the same. Like if you go to Alberta and then you go to Vancouver and then you go to Halifax, it's the same vibe of like Canadian like wildernessy. You know, like I work for like an outdoorsy company, right? And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
weird. It's like why are they all like this? Why are they all the same type of person that works here? And it's like leaving Toronto, and I'm the weird one at work because it's like why am I so
Mm-hmm.
like techie? You know what I mean? But
Sure.
it's like, oh, that's because that's Toronto, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now I'm like, is like Toronto the weird outlier? And I'm like, analyzing my own thought process now, having been to these places. I'm like, oh no, we're weird. You know what I mean? Like being like, oh, just like iPhone tether and like, yeah, your like laptops and then four screens and blah blah blah. They're just like, why do you need all that, bro? You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
like look at this nature. You know what I mean? And it's like, why do we think we're America in Toronto, bro?
Well, it is. I mean, I think that the whole idea was it's kind of like a mini New York ish,
Oh, okay, that makes
right?
sense.
Yeah.
Okay, that actually makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. I I like the you know what the tagline is for Toronto? And Tara didn't believe me, but this
Well,
is the real tagline. It's a city within a park.
a city with?
Within a park.
Oh, within a park. Okay.
And I'm like, having been to all these places, you guys are liars, bro. Like, no. Vancouver's got like so much nature
Mm-hmm.
within the city, you know? And
Sure.
it's like we're such posers here. But you know everything here is so like cookie cutter.
Mm-hmm.
It's like everything's identical. You know what I mean? There it's like the architecture is all different.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you go to like when you're gonna go to Alberta, you'll be like, oh, it's like different here. Halifax, so different, you know? Yeah, I'm just like when they say Torontonians are different, it's like, yeah, we kind of are, bro. You know, like I can't even qualify us as being Canadian anymore because I'm like, where's our nature? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. Yeah. Where have you been in Canada that, like, are you resonating with what I'm saying, or are you just like, oh, I haven't really been to that many places in Canada, so I don't really know what you're
No, no,
talking
I've
about?
been to the eastern side, right? Up to Halifax, PEI.
Oh, so you've seen Halifax.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So like that, right? It's like,
Yeah.
it's like that. But
Yeah.
then when you go to, you know, you'll
Yeah.
see that it's the other two places, you're like, oh, it's the same. It's
Sure.
like very like in nature, like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
small townsy almost vibe, even though
Mm-hmm.
like Vancouver's a city, but it's like I don't know. It's like we're just weirdly different here, you
Yeah, I
know?
think, but yeah, but even by population wise, we are the bigger population,
Oh wait, what?
as in Toronto,
Is
right?
you, we house most of Canada?
Uh, that's what it feels like. Let me confirm
That's
if that's
pretty.
even
That would be
true.
pretty interesting, though. That would be very interesting.
Um, populated cities.
Have you heard of Arc'teryx?
No.
It's like outdoors brand, Lululemon,
Okay.
Aritzia.
Mm-hmm.
You heard of those? Yeah, all Vancouver. I had no
Well,
idea.
yeah. So Toronto is 6.6 million.
Okay, and then
Vancouver is, well, the next one would be Montreal, Quebec,
oh,
Montreal, which is
interesting. Okay,
4.3 million.
okay. Those two cities are pretty similar. I was just going to Montreal, and I was like, okay, yeah.
So Vancouver is only 2.8 million.
Oh,
It's
interesting.
a
Okay,
huge
okay.
difference. And Calgary
What
is, of
about
course,
how
Halifax is
about
probably
Calgary?
even less. Calgary is just 1.6. So I'm sure Halifax is even less.
Interesting. That explains it because there's less dense population, so like you're kind of still in naturey,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Like but you know what's weird too though? They have like certain laws there. Like Tara's husband were telling us that in these areas you can't they have like a law where it's like you can't have commercial businesses. You can have commercial businesses obviously, but like not chains.
Okay.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right.
Like
Okay.
no McDonald's, no Starbucks, none of that. It's all like local stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that's a weird law. But I kind of get it because it's like you want to keep that vibe of like I don't know, like that like
Authenticity sort of thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
kind of, but yeah, you know what I mean? Like
Or like
Toronto's like
local business. Yeah.
but not even in like let's support Canadian kind of thing. It's more like that's just the energy there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whereas like Toronto's like let's get everything in here, you know, like a multicultural city. But that's also why I like Toronto. It's like you can literally find anything here, you know. But like I feel like in those places, you kind of just gotta love that lifestyle. If you like hate technology and you're like, oh, I love nature and stuff and like hiking, like definitely don't go to Toronto. Like move to that area. You know, it'll be better for you. You know, because I know like a bunch of like coworkers that moved out there, and it makes sense because like their vibe is very much like outdoorsy.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right.
yeah. But you know, I guess like to each their own. But like I don't know. It feels more like to me. I'm just like, oh, it's like one note. I was telling Tara, it's like one like notes in music. It
Yeah,
feels
yeah,
like one note, whereas like Toronto feels like very like up and down. Like
mm-hmm.
I can find this note and I can find that note. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Depending on where you want to go.
yeah.
Because as we were driving around, I was like, no, nobody would listen to Kendrick Lamar here. Why would we listen to like gangster rap, bro? You know what I mean? It's
So
like it's
I
not that
think
vibe.
that's yeah. I think that's it's probably good to visit. I don't because if we are used to this already, I don't know if we would necessarily like it in a long like a living there for so long. If it's just
Yeah, totally.
it may feel too boring. I don't know. All right.
That's how I feel. But like you know, like Ossington, that area, like in Toronto, where it's like hipstery.
Mm-hmm.
There's like this place in Toronto, downtown Toronto, like it's like around Ossington, and it's like very hipster.
Right.
You know, like people have like sticker tattoos and like nose rings, like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
haircuts where like half of it shaved. It's like that's very Vancouver. You know, like just go there. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Right.
we have like pieces of it. You know,
Yeah.
but like I guess you know they like the eclectic nature of Toronto too, and that's why they're here. Because like
Mm-hmm.
it feels like it would get boring to me. You know, like how many hikes can we really do? But
Sure.
it's great to visit. You know, it's like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'd love
Yeah.
to see it and like because like when we landed back in Toronto, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then like Tara's like, oh no, you're just home. And I'm like, no, no, no. Like I've like seen so many cities and it's just like there's nothing like Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
Even in Asia. Because it's even Asia, it's like they're like Asian. It's just like one note too, but in a different direction. It's like
Sure.
just
Sure.
super high tech. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you're not
Yeah.
gonna get woodsy people in like those areas, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're getting one note. And
Yeah.
like
Right.
Toronto's not like that. Yeah. Hands down, I'm claiming it. Toronto's the best city in the entire world. Yeah. I don't know. Or you can maybe you can say like better. I don't know. You think?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's not like I think there's nothing wrong with jumping in certain areas at certain times, depending on how you feel. It's like for me, it's always
Like
been
living
Hawaii.
though.
Yeah, I don't-
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
Again,
true.
living is. I think I would live in Hawaii.
Oh, okay, okay, like that surfer kind of like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
beach
yeah, yeah.
islandy. That's true. There's something primal about it about that though. Like going back to the Philippines and like seeing all that, I'm like, there's something here that's like kind of an appeal. You know,
Mm-hmm.
board shorts and like t-shirts.
Yeah,
You know, but I don't know how long would that last. You know, or just like, or maybe it's just like the boring nature of my own mind that I'm just like bored. You know, it's like I need things that are like entertaining.
yeah,
You
yeah. I
know.
mean, that's we get used to that being here, I guess.
Oh no, no, I mean like I'd be bored. Like I need. That's why I like Toronto because it's like up and down. Like if I'm feeling this today, I'll go there. If I'm feeling
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah,
today,
yeah.
I'll go
No,
there.
that's what I
You know.
mean. That's what I mean. Yeah, that you have these options here versus other places won't have those options.
Yeah, yeah, true. Yeah,
Yeah.
but you know, it is beautiful there. West Coast, Best Coast. Just
Mm.
saying. It is, but like you know, best city, Toronto. Just saying. Um, you know, like what was funny about that, like the boredom and stuff. We were like we hit this high point. We saw like this beautiful view, and they were like, "All right, take your last like memory shot of it." And I was like, "All right, cool." And then like we left, and then they're like, "Oh, is that the best part of like
Mm-hmm.
your adventure?" And I was like, "No, this is the best part." And then Tara like jumped in because she's like, "Oh, you're gonna say something like dumb, not dumb, but like you know, like weird." And I was
Right.
like, "Yeah, because that moment's not real anymore. Like we just left it. See, the view's not there anymore. We're
Mm-hmm.
here in
Mm-hmm.
this moment. So like, we got to go find the next cool thing, you know." And they were like, "What? What are you saying right now?" Right? And I was like, "Oh damn."
Maybe that's a Toronto thing.
No, no. I said, maybe, or maybe I'm just like weird, is what I'm thinking. Because I'm like, that is probably why I'm bored all the time. I'm like, no, no, like it's done. Like, let's go
Hmm.
find something cool to do next.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like maybe that's why, because like I was filming. I didn't think this was gonna be like a film trip. And then like Tara's mom was like, "Oh, I really want you to like BC, so like go do all these things." I was like, "Oh, cool," but I didn't bring my camera, so I was like, "Oh, I'm so sad," because I didn't bring any photos,
Mm-hmm.
but I have my iPhone, so like I could still make a video. And so I filmed, and I was like, "Oh yeah, like let's go, let's go, let's go." Like they hadn't, like me and Tara like used to it because like I'm very like go go
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you and I in the Philippines too, like go go go, right? But like they were like, and I was just finding wonder and everything. Like, look, he's so excited, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because we're like, what? Never seen this dude. What is this? Look at these donuts, bro. Like, what? You know, and like that's like the excitement of like life. And then I was watching these old punk rock videos just now because I was like getting in the mindset of like editing the video again, and I was like, oh, we like this was like a tone because like back in like 2010s, like bands would travel the world and they make these like videos of
Mm-hmm.
like their adventures
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
set to music, right? And then I kind of just like, and I saw it was like 2011. I was like, wait, weren't we filming in like 2010? And then you and I was the 2011 video, but we lost the footage. Remember that? Like we lost the footage, and then you were like, "Oh, I have it on my hard drive." And I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
"Oh,
yeah,
what?"
yeah,
And then I
yeah.
turned it into a video, right? Because
Right.
you had these old hard drives. Um, you remember when the power was out and we were just like bored going through stuff, and then like you're like, "Oh, look, all this footage from
Or maybe
2011."
yeah, yeah, possible.
Yeah,
I don't
and you
remember.
all right, so, and you were like filming it. So like and then that became its own video. But then like kind of from that moment, everything just domino affected. Because then I started to watch like newer videos and like other videos,
Mm.
2012, and like and I was like, oh, it's like a weird domino effect of constantly chasing the next adventure.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's like, is that like some weird mental psychoses too? Because we were listening to David Blaine, and David Blaine's like, yeah, this new series that I have, like, we're learning all these magic tricks, and like, I want to like set myself on fire and like do whatever, whatever. We watched the trailer, we listened to the podcast on the trip, and then we yesterday, Tara and I got back and we watched the trailer because we thought the series was out, but it's not out. We shut off the trailer. Tara goes, "Wow, he must be really depressed, eh?" And I was like, "Huh, I never thought of it like that." Like he's
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so, but not in like I guess like not in a bad way. It's like you can turn your like tragedy into triumph. So like maybe he's like so depressed that he's like constantly trying to elevate the next thing. So he's like more dopamine, more dopamine, more dopamine, you know? And then he goes on this like
Mm-hmm.
maybe that's what passion is. Oh my God, no, now I'm tripping out. Is that what passion is? You know, you're just like you passion is really just like a dopamine withdrawal. And then you have to go like paint. You have to go like for me it's like travel, you know, or like play video games or something. You need like a dopamine boost. And those are your like passions. Cause like what do you get out of passions except dopamine hits?
Right.
Right? Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like people who are just obsessively passionate are just like dopamine like withdrawal. But
Possibly.
dopamine withdrawal is like depression,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
What a weird spin on it, eh? Like you're like people have a lust for life and it's like, no, they're just depressed. And you're like, oh, that's why they have a lust for life because they're trying to fix that thing.
Yeah, right, right. Yeah. Possible.
Or does that sound stupid? You're like, no, it's definitely not.
No, I mean, like, I think these are all things that probably would push humanity forward. Just life in general.
Right?
Yeah. Change doesn't happen because
Right? Because like there's a deficit. You're like,
you're
I need to fix this,
yeah,
bro.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Change happens when you're unhappy.
Yes. Oh my God, dude, that's what it is. That's the Tao. Wow. Thanks, Fish. You just figured it out. That's the Tao, bro. No, no, really though, because it's like, why am I so obsessed with martial arts? Because my biggest fear is just like getting beaten up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, oh, I'm at this point where I'm just like, I'm really not afraid of getting beaten up. You know, it seems more fun to me. Like
Right.
weirdly enough, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And why did that happen? Because of like a deficit.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I always chasing the next adventure? Because it's like a deficit in dopamine, I guess. You know, like David
Right.
Blaine, deficit, and you know, but it's like if you were just happy, everything would just be like status quo the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like monotone. You're like, oh yeah, so this is my life and this is how I'm living. You're just like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So is it better? Because I've been thinking about this. I'm like, maybe if like, what if you just accepted it? You're just like, well, this is my life and this is what I'm doing. I'm sad. Like if you just like accepted it as like it being it, you're not happy or sad about that thing,
Hmm.
then it's like, is that stagnation?
In some way, yeah. I think that's the evolution is you're not really evolving. It's just
You're
the
just
same.
like,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But those people seem happy to me because I'm like, oh, you guys don't feel this weird gnawing like all the time of like, let's go do
Hmm.
something fun.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. So I
literally in the back
mean,
of my head's like always, let's do something fun, bro.
yeah. 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 No, I mean, yeah. Then in that, it depends on how you view it. But uh, if they're happy, or yeah, if they're happy, then there's nothing wrong with that either.
But then it's bland. It's like no spice. You're
Yeah,
just
that's
like,
from your
oh,
opinion, though, right?
true, true. You're right. You're right.
So you're viewing the unhappy, but they're happy though.
But are they happy? That's the real question.
Well, I
Are
guess
you
they're not
happy
either
or you
or,
set a
right?
tone?
If
Yeah, you know what I
maybe,
mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, 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 dude. That's what it is. That's what it is. Yes, that's what it is. It's a tone. Because I know people like that where it's like, I'm like, what do you like to do? Oh, you're like, bro, you don't know what to like. You know what I mean? Or like me going to like, dude, look at this. Oh, dude, look at these donuts. Oh man, look at that sign. Oh, these mountains. And they're like, yeah, seen it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like, what? Uh,
Right, right,
but
right.
like, but they can't hit that high note because it's like, there's here.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like maybe, and then that's
Maybe.
why they're like, maybe that's what an NPC is, bro. Well, this is going so philosophical. I didn't expect it to like get all gnarly like this, but like maybe that's what an NPC is though, because when you're like you have no identity, you have no like thoughts, you have no new thought. It's
Mm-hmm,
like,
mm-hmm.
well, I heard Trudeau was a da da da, and then now they're talking about blah 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 and da da da.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, now you're just like sparking my mind. I'm like, maybe that is what it is, bro. Because I'm like, why do people just hit that one note and you're just like, I don't know how to move past this note.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like because they don't even know what the joy is. They've never felt, or they felt like moments of that thing.
Yeah.
But the problem is this though, the come down. I always get like a weird come down moment. Like all right, I'll go teach and I'm like, oh, I'm so excited, and then like you leave teaching, you're like, oh, now I have a dopamine withdrawal, so you're like sad, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
then you gotta chase the next fun thing. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go climb next, and let me da da da. But like, but you need to figure out like ways to like
Kind of balance that, I
uh
think.
or like boost it, but not in a way that's like you don't have to do an activity.
Sure. Right. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah.
me, that's music. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, if I can put on a song that like gives me that same feeling, I can like abate that withdrawal symptom.
Mm-hmm.
And like, because here's a fun exercise. If you just listen to what people like, I was doing this in the car, I was like, well, play a bunch of songs that you like, and then you play a bunch of songs that you like, because for me, it's like, what is your mentality? Because I
Sure.
really think that music is, or maybe just see if you agree with this. Like, music is your soundtrack to life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you see a movie, the soundtrack tells you how to feel about that scene,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like without a soundtrack, you're like, oh, it's kind of weird. Or sometimes it works, like that war movie where there's no soundtrack, it's just eerie because you're like, ooh, I'm just hearing bombs go off. There's no like crescendo of like military music. You're like, let's get hyped. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that
yeah.
that's why I think that music is like so powerful in that way because it like sets the tone, right? So when you hear what other people listen to like on a daily basis, it gives you like an insight into the world.
Mm-hmm.
You agree? Like you're like, oh, that's where
Yeah,
your
yeah, yeah.
headspace is at all the time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I
So
agree.
you agree? All right, cool. So like it was funny because like listening to their different musics and stuff, I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And then they're like, oh, like let me put on a song. And then I put on my music, which is like we came up with it's called like sad girl music. So I'm like, what is this music you're listening to? And it's like Billie Eilish, like SZA, Taylor Swift, you know. And it's like I can't pinpoint it, but it's like there's something there. And then like we should hit on like sad girl music because it's all sad. It's like my boyfriend broke up with me and like whatever, and you're just like I'm so sad now, you know. And you're like okay, that's interesting. And then I put on my music, which is like I'm really into punk rock again. And then I put that on, and they're like, "Oh, what is this? This is like too loud, blah blah." Blah. And I was like, "Yeah, it's like happy. Let's go chase life music." You know, they're like, "Oh, turn that off." And I'm like, "Oh, that's my default mode." Like
Right.
constantly,
Yeah.
finding a thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're just like, how many people out there are like that? You know, like like not saying that I'm cool because I'm like an outlier and stuff, but it's like it would just be so interesting to hear everyone's music and see how many people are like on that like constant like happy drive. You know?
Yeah.
You know what's the weirdest? When you listen to like people just like you're like, hey, what do you listen to? And it's just all stuff that other people told you that was cool. You're just like, well, that's weird. You know, it's like radio hit after radio hit. You're like, okay, what's here then? Because it's like you were just manufactured at that point.
Maybe.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean, right? Like those like, all right, play some music. It's like, oh, that was on the radio. Oh, that was also on the radio. That was also on the radio. It's like, okay, there's not like what what's here, bro? You know? Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I've been going on about like my little insights. You say something. I was like,
No, I mean, yeah, I think
yeah.
music does give a lot of like insight onto what kind of person they might be, or not
Yeah.
might be, but like what they're into, what their mannerisms or character is like, depending on that. But sometimes it can be the opposite of what's shown too. It's like,
Oh,
would you,
interesting.
right?
Like what? Yeah.
Like I don't know. Would people think of me listening to Eminem? Is that like a normal thing?
Yeah, that's no. Okay, no. But this is what I mean. No, this is what I mean. Hold on, wait. No, I 100% agree with what you're saying. But so they asked me like, what do you listen to? And I was like, I'm eclectic. So what that means is like I can jump between.
Yeah,
Because like
yeah.
they would play their song and then I was like vibing to it. I was like, yeah, this is cool. The next song, Tara's like, oh, you really like this song? And I'm like, no, I can just get into music.
Yeah, that's true too.
You know?
Yeah. I do like
But
different
that's
kinds of
you.
music.
That's what I mean. So I'm like, no, like if I'm alone in a car, I'm gonna listen to something that's like mood changing. If I want to be sad, I'm like, I'm put it. You know, like I use music
Yeah.
you get it too, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I think when you're like, oh, Eminem, I'm like, no, I get you because I do the exact same thing. Where it's like, it's just like you're finding something cool, interesting. Oh, that's cool. Oh, okay, I want to dial it down. Okay, but I don't think people do. This is what I mean. I don't think people do it like that though. Like, I don't think they realize how powerful music is. So like when they're just listening to like one type of music, I'm like, for me, I'm like, oh, I can read into you as a person, but you
Right.
can't read into me because, or maybe you can because you're like, oh, you're just so all over the place. But it's like, for me, I don't care what you're putting on. I can find something cool in it because I'm just interested in like observing it, which is kind of like the traveling too. It's just you're interested in observing, like, oh, that's how people live.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
See what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's like you and I, like our value systems. Our value systems are the same in that way, where it's like, and I mean that's why we like deconstruct things on the podcast. Like, dude, you see that? You see that? Da, 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 da. It's like it's really just like two people coming together and being like, I saw this gnarly thing. What'd you see? Oh, I saw this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, it's not us. It's just like cool things we're interested in.
Yeah. It's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, you know what's the craziest thing ever? Like small talk to me, I just like I don't get it. I don't get it. Like I can play the game, but like that's for me that's just like, okay, we're just hovering at like middle, you know? Like not too hot, not too cold. Don't want to bring up any politics. So what politics are you into? Or I'm just gonna agree with what you're saying. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah.
It's only until like you hear that one story that you're like, well, hold up, repeat that story because that's cool. You know what I mean? Because like like Tara's cousin is like super adventurous, and like she went to like Mexico and to Belize, and then she's telling us about these caves that open up into these giant caves, and then all the Mayans used to go in and like do rituals in there because it wasn't raining, so they started to like sacrifice things, and then like they started to cut they're like, okay, well, this is not like food's not working, so maybe blood will work. So they started to bleed, like cut themselves so they bleed, and like blood's not working. Maybe a child will work. So they used to kill the children, and like you'd see all the dead bones of like all these children. And like she went into this cave, and I'm like seeing dead children bones everywhere in the cave. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
this is a gnarly story, bro. And then I'm like, okay, like, have you heard of this? And then now you're like, that's something cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I don't care about taxes and like
Right.
you
Yeah.
know
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
the weather is normal today. You're right. Like I do love chicken. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, there's some dead children in a cave. Let me hear about the dead children in the cave, bro. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But also it's like kind of freaking people out because you're just like dead children, no, you know.
Yeah. 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 I heard
But
some
yeah,
interesting things about. I mean, I don't know how true these things are, but if the stories are actually not from the Mayans, these are stories written
ooh,
possibly by the Spaniards to give a
that's
light
cool.
on
That's cool.
on Mayan, like to give an image of the
Yeah,
Mayan
yeah, yeah.
culture when it's
Like
not
marketing,
true.
marketing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's interesting. That's so interesting.
Right.
Wait,
I was like, oh
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that could be. I mean, that's possible. There are a lot of things that were
No, that makes total
changed.
sense actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you check something out on the podcast like live, which is well, it's
Okay.
not live, like recorded, unedited? Who is Magellan Portuguese?
I think so.
Thank you. Okay, so we were talking about like the Lapu Lapu Day that happened in Vancouver, and then like the bus thing. I wasn't like that's a terrible tragedy. We have to
Yeah,
say
he's
that,
from
like
Portugal. Yeah.
thank you. Okay, cool. So
Ferdinand Magellan.
Fernand
Yeah.
Magellan, yeah.
Yeah.
So
He was in Uncharted mentioned, I think.
yeah, facts.
Yeah.
So
Sorry. Hmm.
so we were listening to we were talking about the Lapu Lapu Day, and they're like, who's Lapu Lapu, whatever, right? Just disclaimer, yes, terrible tragedy, very sad. I heard that person has mental health issues.
Hmm.
Pain just breeds more pain, so we really need to just like work together and just like
Hmm.
I feel like I need to throw that out there. Yeah, because that's obviously sad. But so who's Lapu Lapu? So they're like, oh, I've never heard of this person. I was like, yeah. They're like, have you heard of him? I'm like, yeah, he's actually like a warrior legend. Like, oh, okay, what did he do? He killed. There's Terrace Portuguese, right? So I was like, so he actually killed the famous Portuguese person. They're like, what? Like, yeah, like Magellan. And then they're
Yeah.
like, I don't think he's Portuguese. I'm like, I'm pretty, because I grew up learning this story like. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, maybe, I guess, maybe not. And I started like, I need to Google this. Like, what? Because I'm,
Hmm.
was I lied to my entire life by my uncles? Because like when I started like dating Tara, they were like, uh-oh, you
Oh,
killed her
right.
people. So it became like a funny thing. Just like, you killed her person.
Right.
And
Right.
I'm like,
Right.
ooh, you know? But like, so they hadn't heard that story. And like when I told them, like, yeah, like, there's like a little bit of feud between the Portuguese and like because they tried to come in and like, we slaughtered them. And they're like, huh? Like,
Yeah.
never mind. But they were like, oh, I think he was Spanish. I was like, he could have been Spanish. You're right. You're right. Not you
Mm.
guys. Not you guys. You know. But like, there you go. Facts. All right, we got it on record that he is Portuguese.
Yeah. Yeah. He's from Portugal. Yeah.
You want to hear a crazy story about how they conquered the Philippines? Oh, how much time we got before I like?
Oh, we still got some time. It's
All
only
right, cool. Just like you give me like a 5-minute warning, okay?
sure.
All right, cool. So here's a really interesting story about the Filipino culture. How did we get colonized? Okay, so when they were going around like the Magellan and the person and stuff, um, it's funny 'cause it's like, why would you like? I went to Filipino school, bro. I learned this stuff, like. But then I was like second guessing because they were like, he's not Portuguese. I was like, oh damn, all right. Anyways, so they came and the Portuguese tried to colonize us,
Hmm.
and then like Lapu Lapu and the warriors, we were so good at like sword fighting, and that got passed down in our culture, and that's why like Filipinos now are like the best knife fighters. So we slaughtered them, and then they went back, and the reason why we ended, I think it was like the Spanish or whoever we got colonized by
Well, the
next.
Spanish, because you have a lot of
So
Spanish names.
okay, so it's the Spanish. So their person came in and they weren't trying to fight us. The way
Mm.
they got in was they were like, "Hey, you guys want to have a party?" And then we were like, "Oh, we love parties." So we like invited them in, we made them part of the culture, and then it slowly integrated into like colonization that way because like they were able to get their boats in
Sure.
and like you know what I
Yeah,
mean? The words
yeah,
like
yeah,
if
yeah.
you came warring, they're like all right, we'll fight you back, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, oh, we lost, you know? But it was more like, hey, we got beer and a lot of pig. We got rice. And they're like, we love beer, pig, and rice. Let's go, you know? But
Yeah.
it's like that's the two
Finding
personalities of
common
a
ground.
Filipino.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, but you know, like they say, like if you like, even if you open up like Lonely Planet, it's like the most hospitable race is the Filipinos.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like it dates back to that moment where we got colonized through a party, bro.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
everyone's like, you get colonized by killing. We're like, no, 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 we won't lose on the battlefield,
Mm-hmm.
but we will lose to a drinking game, bro.
Right.
It's like it's so stupid, you know. But anyways, all right. Since I do really want to touch on this because this is crazy. I read on the book, read it on the plane, a book. So remember that famous dude who was talking about the end of, like finances and like
Oh
just
yeah, yeah,
squeezing
yeah.
out of the middle class.
Sure.
His name was like Gary Stevenson or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I read his book because like everyone's talking about it. So we are being hustled, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know about stocks, right? We all know about stocks.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
like, oh, I was trading. When people say trading, you know, like the 2008 crisis,
Mm-hmm.
that has nothing to do with stocks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Okay.
everyone, or like, it's about the housing crisis, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, but are they gambling? Like, why did the stock market go down?
Mm-hmm.
It actually has nothing to do with stocks,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? Like, right. But the perception is like all these traders, like I know people who are like, oh, I just like I invest, so like I make lots of money. It's like you can totally if you do like stocks, but that's open to regular people.
Mm-hmm.
But have you heard of like trading?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, what is your perception on trading? Because I didn't know this, and if you know this, that'd be crazy.
Tell me what it is.
No, no, no. Like I want to know what you think it is, and then I'm gonna tell you what it is, and I'm like, oh, it's totally different than what most people think it is. Like when I thought trading, I was like, yeah, you're like trading some stocks. I don't know, like taking something from here and then over here, and like you make
Yeah,
more money
wouldn't.
that way.
Okay. It's not.
Is that
That's
what
not
you thought
trading.
too?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
No, no, bro.
What is
No.
trading?
Check this out. Check this out. So it is a thing that only bankers can do. So what it is you're looking at the global economy, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, okay, the US dollar is a little down, the pound is higher or something, right? So what somebody will do as a trader, they'll go to you and they'll go to you and buy debt off of you
Mm-hmm.
and you're trading in debt. So let me give you an example. So I will go to you and I'll be like, "Hey, I need $7 million." Okay? And you're like, "Cool, I'll lend you $7 million at this interest rate." You're
Mm-hmm.
like, "Cool." But now I'm down $7 million because I just gave it to you for an
Mm-hmm.
interest rate. So I need to go buy 7 million more dollars. So I'm gonna go to another place that has lower interest and I'm gonna buy $7 million off of them.
Mm-hmm.
So if like let's say I give it to you $7 million at 10% interest, then I go to someone else and borrow $7 million at 5%, I can make a 5%
Sure. Yeah,
markup
yeah, yeah,
on
yeah,
the
yeah.
interest I just gave you because
Yeah.
there's difference, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's what traders do. We are not privy to this game. That's only for people in the trading position, and they're always just trading debt. This is the
Mm-hmm.
trading game. That's why it's called the trading game, the book. And if you just keep doing that, you can substantially mess up everything, and that's why everything's domino affected. Because this also affects interest rates for people. Because like if we're playing this game and like if when you're trading like money like this, it affects the overall interest rate that people have to pay because it has to level itself out somehow. I didn't get into the mathematics of that. That part's like way too difficult, and he doesn't go into it. But like generally, that's what they're doing to make money,
Mm-hmm.
and those traders get bonuses based off of how much profit they've made the bank. Okay.
Okay.
So like if I keep getting 5%, 5%, 5%, like the bank's earning more and more money, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I get a bonus off of the amount of money that I made the bank.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason why this guy's famous is he's the only person in to make in his first year $1 million from trading. So like it wasn't even a million. So like he found out that this was the game he's playing. And then he's like, how do I make $1 million bonus? Because his first year was 5,000. Most people just make like 5,000, 3,000, 10,000. You know what I mean? Like that's on the average. So he was like, how do I make $1 million off as a bonus? And they're like, well, you have to sell $120 million. You have to make the bank $120 million off of this trading game. So he's like, all right, cool. So he ended up doing it. And instead of getting $1 million, he got $3 million.
Mm-hmm.
Because like he actually, it's impossible. Like nobody had done that before him, right? But he had a crisis of conscience midway through the book because he realized that while they're making money, other people's interest rates, like, you know, like mortgages, every 5 years it gets reevaluated, right? And then the interest rate changes. Or like if you have a debt,
It depends on
like your
your
it depends on what you choose, right? But like,
yeah.
so like I have a line of credit, right? And then on that, there's like a rate plus a variable rate. So the variable rate is what's being changed
Yeah.
through this game. So like them playing this game bank to bank is what's affecting those variable interest rates.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he's making lots of money while a lot of people are just losing money. And the crazy part is like, cause you're reading about his lifestyle, they're literally playing PlayStation and just like, oh, I made $1 million today. You're like, oh, I just made this $1 million trade. So like to them, the money actually doesn't even matter at a certain point. It's more of the game,
Right.
right? You're just like, what's your number? My number's this. Oh, okay. Let me see if I can beat that. They don't even care about the money that they're going to make.
Mm-hmm.
It's more, well, I guess they care in terms of like, they can never spend the amount of money that they make. They're just playing the game because it's like a fun game while we're all foreclosing on certain things. Like he was saying that when he realized this, he was like talking to other people and like people would like sell all their assets to pay like the mortgage or like sell their house just to pay for their kids, like all this stuff, like because it was crazy out of control while they didn't even care. They're just like, oh, I'm just gonna eat some sushi and like whatever. And this is what I mean, or like what everyone means about uncontrolled capitalism. It's not that like capitalism is bad. Like, of course, own a business, make a business, do whatever, make as much money as you want to make. But it's like these riggings of the system that are contributing negatively to society as a whole. And that's what we need to rein in.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Sure. I don't know enough about it to. Yeah, I don't mind it. Yeah, uncontrolled capitalism is always going to be bad. Yeah, I don't.
But like
disagree with
that thing. What I mean is like you're just making so much money off of the backs of poor people. And what he's saying is like this is what the squeezing out of the middle class is. Because they're making so much money, then these people are getting more and more poor. There's going to be no more middle class. It's either you're really rich or you're really poor. And that's what we're seeing now. And like that's what, like when he's making all this money, it was like early 2008 and stuff. And like now we're seeing him being right. And the way he makes his money is he's like, I have to be really good at calling the economy. So like, if I'm going to say that, you know, America's going to tank, well, I better know what I'm talking about because I'm about to make $1 million betting that America's going to tank because I'm going to go buy like euros over here. You know what I mean? And he's the best one. You know, and that's why he's making all the rounds right now where he's trying to warn people like, guys, I'm trying to tell you that like, this is what's going on. We need to fix this. Like, you know, there's squeezing out of the middle class, blah, blah, blah. But like what, like, yeah, just what do you like do you're like, maybe not really. This is just marketing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just curious, like, do you see the warning shot or are you like, maybe he knows?
Warning shot as in what? What is he saying is going to happen next?
Squeezing out of the middle class. There's gonna be really rich, really poor. That's what he said early on because it's just moving in that direction. And now everyone's complaining about that. Like that's the big economic crisis right now. That there's going to be like really rich, really poor, simply because they just can't pay their debts back. Like the cost of living so high, so you have to take out debt. But then the interest rate gets higher because of this game that they're playing.
Mm-hmm.
But this game is what makes countries strong. So it's almost like you built a house of cards and it's ready to blow over. You know, like the world economy kind of thing.
Right.
Like, because a lot of people are just gonna like be in crazy debt that they just can't pay back. You know, because the compounding interest of it all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, it's like, do you see the warning shot? Like, maybe, or like, is that what you're seeing on your end too? Like, are a lot of people kind of mentioning that?
No.
You've never heard of the squeezing out of the middle class?
Would it, like mentioning it as in like around people,
Like,
or you just in
no, like in
online?
the things yeah, online, because you're like, you see a lot of economic stuff too.
No,
So
I don't see that too much. I'm not saying that there
nobody's
isn't
talking about
like,
it.
huh?
Nobody's talking about like poor people are getting poorer, rich people are getting richer.
It's no one's like talking about it like that.
Interesting. Yeah, that's what he was saying too. He's like, a lot of people are talking about it, like, but not publicizing. It's like the UAP issue. It's like, let's just not look at it, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like more information just came about the UAP stuff, and it's like, let's just not look at it. It's not real, you know? But it goes back to the NPC thing. It's like, if we're all just this is what it is. It's like, it goes back to the NPC thing. You're like, if you can't feel the deficit, how are you gonna make the change? Whereas they're just like, everything's gravy, bro. Like, we don't need to change anything. Remember earlier we were talking about, like, because I feel a deficit in something, it makes me want to change something, right? But if you keep everyone at a status quo level where it's like chill, like, you know what I mean? Like, no high, no low,
Yeah.
then it's like, there will be no revolutionary change.
Mm-hmm.
And you become an NPC. So if you're not talking about UAPs, you're not talking about like the economic crisis, it's like, what are you talking about, bro? Because those are the two most important things that are going to affect the rest of our lives.
Yeah,
You
I'm
know?
not gonna. Yeah, I don't think I see people talk about like the separation between the rich and the middle class or something like that. It's more about the job loss that's gonna happen with the tariffs or things like that, right?
True, but that's all tied in because then it's like, okay,
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
then
I'm saying that's what I hear people more talking about than a separation between the middle class and the rich.
right, because you're looking at the symptom and not the cause. It's like when we go back to the cause, it's like, oh, the whole structure is really weird. Maybe we need to fix this. No, let's just look at the symptom. Yeah, there's a tariff going on. Then like this country's gonna be better than this country. It's like, well, how are we structuring this whole thing in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like that is the crux of the issue. Are you ready? How much time we got left? Because I'm about to blow your mind.
Well, I'll say yeah, 5-10 minutes. Yeah.
All right,
5
cool.
to 10.
Ready for this? So, who is at the heart of that issue? The IMF, I think it's the IMF, International Monetary Fund. Is like, all these countries are feeding into this thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where we play this game. Okay. So I was listening to this separate podcast about this woman who, did I write her name down? No, I did not. So, this woman, she worked for the Bush administration on finance, and she was giving nothing to do with UAPs. What she's about to say, but I'm like, everything's linking up together. Okay, so she said that the IMF or like the World Bank or something, are the IMF and the World Bank same thing?
I don't know.
Okay, well, one of those, whatever the major thing is, I think she said World Bank.
Okay.
Okay, so that was set up after World War II because they needed to figure out a way to independently pay back the debts of countries because of all the damage that was happening. It's like if a city was broken, it's like, okay, well, I need to borrow some money. Who are you going to borrow the money from? You can't borrow from this country. So they set up a separate entity that would manage the world's money.
Mm-hmm.
All right, wait for you to look it up.
Saying that no, the World Bank and the IMF are not the same thing.
Okay, so is the World Bank then?
So I'll read on what it says here. They are closely
Okay.
related and share common goals. The IMF focuses on promoting global monetary stability and facilitating international trade, while the World Bank concentrates on providing financial and technical assistance to developing countries to reduce poverty and promote economical growth.
Okay, so the IMF makes sense for like the trading thing because it manages world trade. So like
Mm-hmm.
that's like the main player of like when you're buying and selling like the euro and the USD kind of thing, the trading game that we just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure she mentioned World Bank as the thing, but you said that they're closely related, right?
Yeah, but not the same thing. Closely
Not the
related,
same
but
thing.
not the same
Okay.
thing. Yeah, World Bank again, as this says, is focused on um, to assist developing countries to reduce poverty and promote economical growth.
Okay, cool. So that makes sense because that was established off of World War II when they needed to build back because a lot of countries were devastated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what she said was that if you look into it, the World Bank actually has immunity from the law. So it cannot be indicted on anything that's going on. It has its own like military system, I think, and like own legal system, all that stuff. And it had to be that way because it's like
It's
independent from a
international.
country.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's independent from a country.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So while working with them, she said that she got to visit underground cities that are built all over America.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like literally, she said like it's in Washington, D.C. Like she went underground and like it's just miles and miles of interconnected cities that they're building just in case of like a natural disaster. Okay. This is a part of her job. And then she said, how do you think that thing is getting powered? Like most likely a breakthrough technology,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's what she called it. Some sort of energy system that's breakthrough. It can't be wind, solar, you know, gas, nuclear. It can't be any of that stuff. It has to be something else that's powering that system because it's so infinitely big. Okay. But then the interviewer is Tucker Carlson. He's like, why don't they release that? And she's like, well, you're talking at that point about near infinite energy. And I was like, 0 point UAPs, 0 point energy,
Mm-hmm.
right? And she said, if we give that to everyone, you have no control over people because then people will just have like families and like move wherever they want. Like you need a structured system, which is our power grid, to manage the system. And she's like, it's not even nefarious. Just think about being like a risk manager. You need to account for every risk. That's your job. So you're like, well, if we give out this free energy, how can we manage people? If we can't manage people, infinite risk, right?
Mm-hmm.
It makes practical sense,
Mm-hmm.
right? So then they asked her to join. They're like, hey, we want you to, it's time to like join our cause. And like, you just need to be nominated by this person. And she was like, no, this seems kind of weird. And then they were like, if you say no now, you'll never get back in. And she's like, that's okay with me. So now we know that they're giant cities, weird energy systems, a weird cult thing where they're like, hey, you should join. World Bank is independent from anything. Okay. That's nothing to do with UAPs. This is all economics that she was talking about. And she said that they knew that the 2008 crisis was going to happen because of the way it was structured. In 1994, there was some Asian deal that like America backed out of. Like they promised like money or something. And then America was like, no, never mind. And then that caused a bunch of deals to collapse. So the World Bank was like, okay, we need a different system. And they created like this uncontrolled capitalism thing. And she was like, the 2008 crisis was going to happen and they knew about it because there was a lot of ways to like fail the system because you're just giving out loans to people who can't pay back the money.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you know what I mean? Like they forecasted for it. And the Tucker Carlson's like, why would they do that? And she's like, I think that they were doing it to raise the capital to go into space. Look at what we're doing now. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, all these people are trying to go into space. Like that's the next frontier. So they were like, well, we'll accept the risk of like failing capitalism, but we need lots of money to start these things. Okay, cool. So with all that in place, now think about Stephen Greer. He's like, there's a transnational organization with UAPs and technology and breakthrough energy And you have all these Navy SEAL whistleblowers coming out saying, like, I went into these underground bunkers, saw this crazy technology, hover cars, all that stuff, like hovering blocks through sound, whatever, whatever. I'm calling it. The World Bank is behind everything. I
Mm-hmm.
bet you they are the ones that are funding the UAP crash retrievals, the reverse engineering. Why is there bases in like Asia and like, Peru and like America and like why is the whole world talking about UAPs? Like Russia's got bases, Japan's got, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all just clicking now, right? Aren't you just like, wait, this all kind of she had nothing to do with UAPs. She would just explain this. I'm like, wait, Stephen Greer was talking about this thing. Are they connected?
Mm-hmm.
Immunity from the law, UAPs, bro. Why does Trump know? Remember, he's like, don't worry, we know where these things are coming from. I'm like, are you in a part of this World Bank thing now? Like, is there a secret society that's like, you know what I mean? Is it the
Right.
World Bank? What do you
Mm-hmm.
think?
I mean, yeah, these are all substantial or claims, right?
They're all claims, but
Yeah.
it's like, it's all kind of just clicking in a weird way that you're like, huh,
Mm-hmm.
you're all kind of saying the same thing. Like, who
Right.
is funding the UAP crash retrieval? The Senate. That's why we're having congressional hearings because the congressional hearings don't even know about this program. But then you
Mm-hmm.
have all these military people being like, "Yeah, we're all red on the program." Okay, who's paying your salary, bro?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and you know what she said? She said that America is the biggest money launder. I hope we don't get canceled for this or like die. This is crazy. But she
Well,
said
I'll say
the
this:
yeah,
America has the freedom of speech, so I don't think we're gonna get canceled for this.
or in Canada. So you're right as
But or
well.
in Canada, but YouTube is American.
Facts. You're right. You're right. So she also said that America is the biggest money laundering mechanism in the entire world as well. Why do we keep failing our audits every single year? You're like, oh, we don't know where 20 trillion went or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, yeah, it's because it's all tied to the World Bank using America as a way to siphon money to like drug lords and like all that stuff. I was like, what are you saying right now, lady?
Mm-hmm.
And she worked in the Bush administration. And again, she's not talking about UAPs. She's literally just talking about how the money system works.
Mm-hmm.
But it's lining up very well with the UAP stuff. Because what they're saying is like in the UAP side, what they'll do is they'll like write on the black budget like 2 trillion miscellaneous. And they won't have to explain what it is. But it's like now you can use that for UAP research. Or you can use that to reverse engineer UAPs or like whatever, whatever, whatever. Right? Tell me it's not clicking, bro.
Well,
Or,
until the claims are substantiated.
And that's why they're having the hearings, though, bro. That's why they keep trying to disclose the big issue. The reason, you know what's really insane? All right, last thing, because I know
Yeah,
you
yeah,
probably
last,
gotta go.
yeah.
All right. Stephen Greer said that the biggest issue with the UAPs is not the aliens, bro. Nobody cares about the aliens. Bring them on, bro. I'm sure they're cool people. You know? He said the
Like we
thing
said
with the
last week.
UAP,
Well, like I said last week.
right? No, for real, though. But like, the big issue with the UAPs is that once you uncover UAPs, you uncover the actual system that's been going on. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what they want to keep secret. And now that I'm hearing this, I'm like, oh, it's because we're all a part of this game that you're all playing. Go back to the trading game. Why are they like screwing us over with like the rich and the poor, squeezing out of the middle class? Why is the World Bank immune from all legal systems? Why is US unable to account for trillions of dollars in their audits? Because we're all being played. And it has nothing to do with alien life. It's just a system that we've built and they're trying to keep under wraps because there's a lot of people making a lot of money. And then go back to like, what's the average income of everyone on Earth? $9,000. And they're making trillions per year? What the hell are you guys talking about? We could undo world hunger, poverty. Everyone could live in a utopia if this all comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the battle we're now fighting. And I believe that we're about to have a cyberpunk future because this is all about to come out. Calling it right now. All right, now I know you got to go. Agree. Just to leave, agree, disagree, and then we'll end it.
Agree about what? that this is
Do
true.
you think I'm crazy? Like, no, agree that there are some weird through lines throughout this whole thing. I'm not saying it's like 100% accurate. I'm just like, this is all kind of tying together, which is very odd to me.
I mean, sure, yeah, but again, these are all claims.
These are all claims,
Yeah.
but it's now in the public domain that they're all fighting about it, which is why we're having congressional hearings.
Mm-hmm. We'll see.
Cyberpunk future. Here we go. Yeah, we'll see. All right. Till next week. I can't wait for my half cybernetic body to kick in. That'll be so sick.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Till next week. Take it easy, Vish.
Peace.
All right. Hope you enjoyed that episode. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all those fun things, and check out our sponsors: Zenro Clothing Co., Portian Bakery, and Podbean. Take it easy, Vish.
Peace.